Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
It's great to be back.
Today we're diving deep into the latest tech news, courtesy of our friends over at TechViews 10X. And trust me, you do not want to miss this.
It is a wild ride.
It is. And speaking of wild rides, have you seen this dress made of fiber optic cables?
Yeah, 12,000 feet of it.
I mean, is it fashion?
Is it art?
Is it a tech demo?
Maybe all of the above.
I don't know, but it's definitely eye-catching, and that's what we're all about here. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like, share it with your friends, and let's get this deep dive started.
You know, it's amazing how quickly the tech world changes.
I know, right?
Like, this Roundup has everything.
I'm seeing consumer tech,
AI,
cybersecurity,
wild fashion.
It's like we're living in the future. And speaking of the future, let's talk about Apple Music, because they're making waves with this new $2.99 a month deal.
Okay, so is this the Spotify killer?
That's $1 million question, right?
I mean, a price drop like that could really change things.
Right? Like, what happens if Apple suddenly takes all these users away from Spotify?
I think Spotify would have to respond, right?
They'd have to drop their prices too.
Yeah, imagine that, a streaming price war.
And then what happens to the smaller players?
They might struggle to compete.
Yeah. And what about the artists?
Right, lower subscription fees probably mean lower royalties.
The whole chain reaction.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
And speaking of fascinating, how about that dress?
The fiber optic one.
Yeah. It's not something you see every day.
No, it isn't, but it makes you think about where fashion and tech are headed.
Like, we've already got 3D printed clothes and wearables.
Right, so what's next?
Are we all going to be walking around looking like light shows?
Maybe some of us.
All right. But let's move on to something a little less flashy, but equally important.
Cybersecurity.
Bingo. There's a new wave of bad PDFs going around.
Oh, yeah, targeting SMS inboxes.
So should we be worried?
I think it's definitely something to be aware of. You know, hackers are always looking for new ways in.
So what can we do?
Be careful what you click on.
That's good advice.
Especially from numbers you don't recognize.
Even if it looks like it's from someone you know, double check.
Better safe than sorry.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But on a lighter note, what are we watching tonight?
Well, Max has The Time Traveler's Wife.
And it's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty good.
Right. And Prime Video has The Lost City of Z.
Yeah, that's at 91%.
So something for everyone.
Yeah, historical adventure meets sci-fi thriller.
Perfect. Now, back to business. Samsung is ditching their Google Messages competitor.
Huh. Interesting.
So does that mean Google has won?
I think they're in a pretty dominant position.
Right. And less competition usually means less innovation.
Yeah, that's not always good for the consumer.
Okay, well, speaking of new things, any news on those PowerBeats Pro 2s?
Oh, yeah, there's a rumored launch date coming up.
And what are we thinking feature-wise?
Noise cancellation, supposedly even better this time.
Nice.
Longer battery life.
Even better.
Oh, and personalized audio profiles.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
They could be a real contender in the earbud market.
Okay, I'm sold. All right, now let's talk about something that is both exciting and scary AI.
That's always a bit of both, right?
So DeepSeek is blowing up right now, but there are these concerns about security vulnerabilities.
Yeah, it's a bit of a red flag.
Like, is this the future of AI?
Or is it a warning?
Like, we're building these incredible AI systems, but are we making sure they're secure?
It's got to go hand in hand.
And speaking of keeping AI in check, the UK government's got this new code of practice.
It's all about transparency.
Fairness.
Accountability.
It's basically setting rules for responsible AI.
Yeah. Businesses are going to have to think carefully about the ethics of their AI.
It's not just about building the coolest tech anymore.
Right. It's about building it responsibly.
What do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments.
Yeah, we want to hear your thoughts.
Okay, and to wrap up this section, OpenAI has this new tool for deep research.
They're claiming it will revolutionize scientific discovery.
How so?
It can analyze massive amounts of data, like way more than a human could.
And find hidden insights.
Exactly. But of course, there are ethical considerations.
Like what?
Well, could it be misused?
And what about bias in the data?
These are all things we have to think about.
It's a balancing act for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's lighten things up a bit. Gemini can now create charts from Google Sheets data using Python.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool for data nerds.
If you know Python, you can make some really cool visualizations.
Definitely.
All right, now for something a little more serious. The Paragon spyware campaign targeting journalists has been disrupted.
That's good news.
Yes, but it also makes you wonder, is this a win?
Or just a sign that the bad guys are getting more sophisticated.
It's a constant battle.
It really is.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we're diving into the world of gaming and hardware.
We've got new GPUs,
Potential disappointments.
maybe even some good news for Nintendo fans.
So stay tuned, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think in the comments below.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
All right, gamers, listen up, because Nvidia's new DLSS 4 driver is causing some serious drama.
Oh yeah, it's promising these crazy performance boosts, but people were reporting crashes.
And even the blue screen of death.
Oh no, is it worth the risk?
It's a tough call. Like, on one hand, you've got amazing graphics.
Super smooth gameplay.
But then on the other hand, your whole system could crash.
Yeah, it's like a high-risk, high-reward situation.
Exactly.
Okay, well, speaking of Nvidia, there's this rumor about the RTX 5060 Ti and 5060 launching in March.
Yeah, they're supposed to be pretty powerful for mid-range cards.
So what are we thinking? Better ray tracing?
Faster processing speed.
Maybe even a lower price point?
Possibly. They could be a really good option for budget-conscious gamers.
Okay, well, let's say money's no object and you want the top of the line, the RTX 5090.
Yeah, there's some bad news there.
What is it?
It might be out of stock until June. Yeah, the demand is through the roof.
I guess everyone wants the best of the best.
It's a combination of things, really.
Like what?
Well, the popularity of gaming keeps growing.
True.
And then you've got cryptocurrency mining, which is using up a lot of GPUs.
And of course, we can't forget about the global supply chain issues.
Right. It's a perfect storm for a GPU shortage.
Okay, well, let's move on to something a little more cheerful.
Nintendo.
There are rumors that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have larger game boxes.
Interesting.
What could it mean?
Well, larger boxes could mean bigger cartridges.
And bigger cartridges mean more storage.
Exactly, which could point to bigger, more demanding games.
Ooh. Maybe even open world Breath of the Wild, too.
We can dream, right?
Okay, let's shift gears to the business world. Shopify is rolling out over 150 platform upgrades.
Wow, that's a lot.
So are they actually listening to users, or is this just change for the sake of change?
From what I've seen, they're really trying to address user pain points,
Like what?
making the platform easier to use,
Okay, that's always good.
streamlining workflows,
Nice.
giving businesses more powerful tools.
So they're really trying to stay ahead of the curve.
It seems that way.
But not everyone is so eager to jump on the latest tech trends.
You're talking about AI agents.
Yeah. Some businesses are hesitant to adopt them.
I think it's understandable.
Like why?
Well, some businesses just don't have the technical know-how.
Okay, fair enough.
And then there's the cost factor.
AI can be expensive.
And then there's the question of ROI.
Will it actually benefit their business?
It's a gamble for some.
And speaking of gambles, it seems like the work-from-home trend might be fading.
Dell is ending its hybrid work policy.
And they're not the only ones. A lot of tech giants are pushing for a return to the office.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, will we all be back in cubicles soon?
Or will remote work prevail?
Only time will tell.
I guess we'll see.
Okay, but this next story is a real head-scratcher. The CEOs of Microsoft and Alphabet are investing in a cricket franchise.
Wait.
Yep. What do you make of that?
Well, on the surface, it seems like a passion project.
Right. They're both super rich. They can do whatever they want.
But maybe there's a deeper strategy at play.
Like what?
Well, cricket is a huge global sport.
It is.
So maybe they see it as a way to tap into new markets.
Or boost their brand awareness.
Exactly. Or maybe they're looking for ways to integrate technology into the sport.
So it's not just about hitting sixes and taking wickets.
Maybe not.
Okay, well, let's move on to some more serious news, data breaches and privacy concerns.
Oh, boy.
Always a fun topic.
So Mizuno USA had a data breach that went undetected for months.
Ugh, it's never good.
What kind of data was compromised?
Pretty much everything: names, addresses, payment card info, even social security numbers.
Yikes, that's a nightmare.
They're offering credit monitoring services, but the damage is already done.
Yeah, it's a scary reminder that no company is immune to cyber attacks.
And speaking of scary, life's data breach is even bigger than they initially thought.
How many people are affected now? Potentially over 850,000 patients.
Wow, it seems like healthcare is becoming a prime target for hackers.
It makes sense. They hold a ton of sensitive data.
And then we have Tata Technologies. They were hit with a ransomware attack.
Yeah, those are becoming increasingly common.
So what's the damage?
They're still assessing the impact, but it could be significant.
Ransomware can cripple a business.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's take a break from all this negativity and talk about some other tech news.
Sounds good to me.
Microsoft is shutting down its Defender VPN.
Huh. I wonder why.
Maybe the competition is just too fierce.
Yeah, there are a lot of great VPN providers out there.
So users will have to find an alternative.
But switching phones is about to get a whole lot easier thanks to Microsoft Phone Link.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're adding a feature that lets you transfer everything from your old phone to your new one.
That's awesome. No more manually transferring contacts and apps.
Exactly, it should be super seamless.
Okay. I'm impressed. And speaking of switching things up with Windows 10 nearing its end of life, are we seeing more people upgrade to Windows 11?
The numbers are definitely going up.
But are people happy with it?
It's mixed. Some love the new design and features.
And some hate it.
It's always like that with a new operating system.
True. Some people are resistant to change.
But change is inevitable.
Okay, well, here's a change. I'm not sure, like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is reportedly more prone to scratches.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, it seems like they might have sacrificed durability for looks.
That's a shame.
Yeah, if you're clumsy like me, you might want to invest in a good case.
Good advice.
Okay, now for some good news. There's a rumored PlayStation State of Play event happening on Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice. What are we expecting?
New game announcements, updates on upcoming releases, maybe even some surprises.
It's going to be a Valentine's Day treat for gamers.
I can't wait. And across the pond, the UK is joining forces with the EU for Horizon research projects.
That's great news for science.
It opens up so many opportunities for collaboration and innovation.
It's a win-win for everyone involved.
But not everyone is playing nice. Apple might be facing lawsuits over battery issues with older Apple Watch models.
Oh, what happened?
People are claiming that Apple knew about these defective batteries.
And that they degraded too quickly.
Exactly, forcing users to pay for repairs or replacements.
If the courts rule against Apple, it could be costly.
Yeah, both financially and reputationally.
It's definitely something to watch.
Okay, and before we move on, any news on the Apple Watch SE3?
Well, the rumor mill is churning.
What are we hearing?
Faster processor, longer battery life, maybe even some new health tracking features.
Ooh, that sounds promising.
It's supposed to be a more affordable alternative to the Series 8.
Okay, that's good news for budget-conscious consumers.
Absolutely.
But what about those of us who are still rocking an older Apple Watch?
Well, if you have a Series 3 or earlier, there might be a settlement coming your way.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's related to those battery issues.
Wow, I might actually get some money back from Apple.
It's worth looking into.
Okay, now back to business. We were talking earlier about businesses struggling to embrace AI agents.
Right. Some are hesitant.
So is there any hope for them?
Absolutely. There are tons of resources available to help businesses adopt AI.
Like what?
Well, there are industry experts offering guidance on implementation.
Okay.
Best practices, cost-effective solutions, it's all out there.
So it's not a matter of if, but how.
Exactly. AI is here to stay. Businesses need to figure out how to make it work for them.
And while some are embracing the virtual world, others are heading back to the office.
Right, we talked about Dell ending their hybrid work policy.
Are other companies following suit?
It seems to be a trend, especially in tech.
Why are companies so eager to get everyone back in the office?
Well, they talk about improved collaboration, stronger company culture.
But what about the employees who prefer remote work?
Yeah, there should be some pushback.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
It really is.
Okay, well, let's end on a lighter note. Remember those CEOs who bought a stake in a cricket franchise?
Yeah.
It turns out they're not alone.
More tech leaders are investing in sports.
I guess they see it as a good investment.
It's a way to diversify their portfolios
Connect with fans.
and explore new opportunities.
It seems like tech is everywhere these days.
It really does.
But with all this innovation, we have to remember that technology is a tool.
It's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly.
Well said. And with that, we're going to wrap up this part of the gem. The deep dive, stay tuned for our final thoughts, had a provocative question to leave you pondering.
And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below.
See you soon.
Welcome back to the deep dive. One last time, it's time to wrap things up.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from fiber optic dresses to AI security concerns, from data breaches to the future of work.
It's been a wild ride through the tech world.
It really has. But that's what we do here at the Deep Dive.
We bring you the latest and greatest in tech news.
So out of everything we talked about, what stood out to you the most?
That's a tough one. But I think the story about DeepSeek's vulnerability to attacks really got me thinking.
Yeah, that was a bit unsettling.
It shows that as AI gets more powerful, we need to be even more careful about security.
It's like we're building a race car, but forgetting the brakes.
Exactly. We need to make sure we can control these powerful technologies.
Another story that caught my attention was the trend of tech CEOs investing in sports teams.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Is it just a hobby, or is there something more strategic going on?
It makes you wonder.
But that's the beauty of the tech world. It's always full of surprises.
And it's constantly changing.
Which is why it's so important to stay informed.
Exactly. That's what we're here for.
Now, before we sign off, we want to hear from you. What news stories caught your attention?
What are your thoughts on all this?
Head down to the comments and let us know. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends.
Spread the tech love.
Now, for a final thought to leave you with AI advancing so rapidly, how do we make sure its benefits outweigh the risks?
It's a big question with no easy answers, but it's a conversation we need to be having.
That's a great point. It's something we all need to think about.
And with that, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the amazing world of technology.